Have you ever shared with somebody something that you love to do, like a hobby or a craft or some kind of skill, like cooking? And that person likes it so much that they immediately want to talk to you about how you should take that passion and turn it into something that makes money. Right? They mean well, don't they? They appreciate what you do. They value it. But they're also telling you that if you don't capitalize on this, if you don't take that skill and use it to make an income, you're basically wasting your time. That's how it feels anyway, and I hate that mentality. I really do. I always have, and I also used to think that was a mindset that I was supposed to have. Right? You see it all the time on YouTube or television or on the radio. You hear about somebody telling you that if you just follow your passion and you hustle and you grind it out, that you're going to find yourself becoming financially stable, doing what you love to do. I realized that in my life, there are some things I love to do. I don't give a shit if I ever get paid to do them. Like maybe I love to do them because they're not tied to a transaction. Maybe that awesome skill that you have, maybe you developed it because there's no pressure to make a living from it. Like I love movies and I love writing. So I thought, what if I combine these two passions and I write about movies? That sounds cool. So I did that. I actually got paid a little bit of money for a little bit of time to write about film. But then I had to write about junk that I didn't want to watch. I didn't want to write about it. Why did I have to write about this junk? Because that junk got clicks, and the clicks led to ad impressions, and the ad impressions led to revenue, and the revenue led to the money that the company was able to use to pay me to write about that junk. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to write about what I loved. But you don't get to do that whenever you turn it into a job. You lose a little bit of that freedom to be you when there's a check involved. It's like UFC heavyweight champion of the world Francis Ngannou said recently. You either gain money and give up freedom, or you gain freedom and you give up money. And if you're like me and you're trying to take your passion and turn it into a product, you have to be prepared to lose a little bit of that freedom to enjoy that passion the way that you used to. Hey, what's up? I'm Jay. We're Out of Depth. And this video is about what it feels like to take your passion, try to turn it into a product. We're only a month into this entire journey. So chances are pretty good you're not even going to see this until months, maybe years after I post it, right? But I thought it would be good to document the fears, the excitement, the stresses, the successes of what it feels like to do this work as it's happening. So like if there's growth in our channel and our audience, this will document that over time. And if there is failure, absolute disaster, this will document that too. And then maybe if you are thinking about taking your passion and turning it into content and putting it out there for people to enjoy, you'll be able to relate to this experience. A few months ago, my wife, Gail, and we both decided that we should take our shared love of stories, storytelling, and role-playing games, and we should take that and turn it into content that you can see on this very channel. I pushed back at this idea for a really long time. I'm a Chicago actor, so I know what it's like to take something creative that you love and turn it into a job, and how that ultimately just beats the love right out of you. But I also want to create, and I also want to share those creations with an audience, and that need to connect my art with an audience is just too overwhelming. So here we are again. But this time I'm trying to do it in a way that makes me feel comfortable. And I'm going to tell you about how we're doing that. So to start our journey on YouTube, I recorded a couple of essays of me talking about certain aspects of role-playing games. You know, something to give people an idea of where I'm coming from. We decided that I would be the one doing it because A, I'm a professional actor and I am used to speaking for a living. And B, she is busy making money. We got kids and this house ain't going to run itself on Chicago PD residuals. You know what I mean? No offense, NBC. I appreciate it. So then we started a podcast of us playing role-playing games with our friends. We recorded it, I edited it down, add special effects, music, all that jazz. I got this very specific artistic vision of what I want that product to be like. And I take it very seriously. I also post the raw video of these recordings on YouTube so that people can see and hear the difference between the two. Like how I edit out all the ums and the pauses. I wanted the transparency. I wanted people to be able to see the rough draft and the finished product. And I wanted to document that. Now we could just post that content to whatever platform we're using and call it a day. We could do that. But I want people to listen to it. And if I'm being honest here, and I'm trying to be as honest as I can be, I kind of want a little income for it, which I hate to say. You know, it's that artist dilemma of art and commerce that I've struggled with my entire life. But thankfully, I'm not looking for this to replace our income or become the sole way in which we earn a living. That would be nice. That would be nice, but I'm not betting on it. I'm not betting my life, my wife's life, and our children's life on it. I would assume that nothing happens or I get burnout long before that's even a possibility. But it costs money to make this stuff. I pay my friends to be a part of the show. I paid an artist to make the logo. And I'd like to pay more artists to make more cool shit for us. Because it takes time and I value people's time and I want them to know that I value their time and I want to sustain all of this. So that means that I need support. There are a few ways to skin that cat, as Dr. Dolittle once said. There's monetizing our content on whatever platform we're using. But we are, like I said, only a month into this. We got like 16 subscribers. That's not something we have to deal with. Then there's paid promotions and sponsorships, which Gail and I both agree we don't want to do. Just makes us uncomfortable. I don't want whatever I create to be shaped by a desire to fit whatever a company or corporation wants or needs. You may want that, and that's fine. You do you. I'm not even saying it's wrong. But for me, and what I want this to be, I don't want it to be filtered through being marketable in hopes that some company is going to come along and give me free swag or pay me to shill their stuff. So, how do we get that support? From you. At least that's what we came up with anyways. We like the value for value system, where if you find value in what we're doing, then show us what that value is. I'd rather deal with an audience than bank on a revenue share with some billion-dollar techno-feudal corporate overlord or hope that I keep some sponsors happy. Ew. So we made a Patreon, which currently has 0 patrons, not even my own mother. But I also don't expect any financial support from you for a long time, like at least a year. Because I have to prove that I'm actually worth supporting. And that's not going to happen after 5 episodes of a podcast and a couple of videos. Okay, so we're making content. And we've also decided on an ethos for how we would like to gain support that would allow us to continue making said content. And part of that involves growing an audience and hoping a percentage of that audience likes what we're doing so much that they're willing to reward us financially for our efforts. Now we're at the part of this whole endeavor that scares the shit out of me. It's the part that I think takes your passion and turns it into the grind. We have to self-promote. There's no easy way to self-promote. I'm an actor. I get it. Networking, telling people about your projects and hoping that they see your show and put you in a movie. Fucking hated it there. I'm gonna hate it here. It's exhausting. Because you're not really making friends. You're not really making connections. You're branding. In acting, you're the commodity, which means you can never just be yourself. You have to be whatever it is that they are selling. So like, say you're Thor in a movie, they're going to want you to be kind of like Thor outside of the movie. Even if you're nothing like Thor, you're just an actor who did a pretty good job. Branding for content creators is very similar to the acting gig. It's not really about the work. It's about the personality presenting the work. So you make your video. You hop on social media and say, hey, I made a video, and you hope that somebody comments on that video. And when they do, because you've been studying how to grow an audience, you engage with that person because you know that if you acknowledge them and you engage with them, then you've got a fan. And so you keep doing that until you create a following. And once you get a following, you start talking about how we are building a community. That's where I check out. The reason I check out here is because with acting and that whole networking game, the schmoozing, I just so happen to have my headshot on me when I ran into this producer, we know that that's really all just business disguised as being polite and friendly and interested. But we're just pretending for some fucked up etiquette that I've got theories on, but I'm not going to get into it here. My problem with content creators and building their brand through a particular style of audience engagement is that the audience who's getting that response, they don't know it's business. They think it's real. And yeah, you may care a little bit, but you don't care as much as they think you do. I don't want to lie to people like that. That's why comments are disabled on our videos, because I don't want to give people the impression that I want to be their friend. I'm friendly, but it's like, I don't want to be your pal just because I gave your comment a thumbs up emoji, right? And not that we have to worry about this at all. We'll probably never have to worry about this. But I do not want to build a cult disguised as a community that revolves around my work, such as it is. I mean, if we get to a point where we have fans or a following and they want to have a little fan club, start a Reddit or something, they should just have that. I think fandoms should just be for fans. I think the idea of creators trying to control fandoms leads to cult-like thinking where everybody wants to fit in to appease the creator so the creator doesn't stop creating something that they love because they're worried that they'll lose their identity and their community, and we could just go on and on. And like I said, I don't have to worry about this because we just started. But I have an overactive imagination and I can't stop thinking about, like, what if I make something and it becomes successful? And then all of a sudden people expect shit from me, and on and on and on and on. It's a sickness. So we're not really engaging. We're just kind of shilling on social media platforms that neither of us want to be on because they take minimal effort. You just say, hey, I got a new video out, check it out, and hit send, and then walk away forever. So if we're not doing that, how the fuck do we grow an audience? We decided to just make the content. That's mostly it. My engagement is through the content. Whether it's videos like this, blog posts, posts on the Patreon, that's just going to have to be enough. That's all I got. I'm writing my ass off to create scripts like this, to create content associated with the podcast. And I enjoy making this stuff. I enjoy even making this video. That's enough. Is that the best way to grow an audience? Fucking, I don't know. There's probably all kinds of videos out there that you can watch after this one that'll tell you that I'm doing it all wrong, but fuck it, c'est la vie. You know what I'm saying? Look, the work is all I have to go on. And if no one ever finds us, or they find us and they don't like it, and we never make anything off of it, as long as I'm proud of it, then I'm fine with that. I did it on my terms. And that's enough to make me happy, because you have to remember, this is still my passion we're talking about here. I almost forgot about it while I was talking about all that other stuff. What we're doing here on this channel, on the blogs, on the Patreons, on all of the social media stuff, what we're doing here, what we're creating is something I love to do. And I would be doing it whether there was an audience or there wasn't. I have to remember that, because remembering that is what allows me to keep creating even when nobody's watching. So all that bullshit that I was talking about that I don't want to do, the fake engagement shit or creating content specifically for the algorithm in hopes of a viewership boost, all of that stuff, the reason I don't want to do that is because I know for a fact that shit would crush my passion in a heartbeat. We are doing this project because we want to. And because it's scary. And as artists, we both agree that going where it's scary is usually where the fun journeys happen. That's why we call ourselves Out of Depth, because we're testing the waters. Thankfully, We both have enough experience swimming that we're pretty sure that we're going to make it back alive. I mean, I think we will. We'll see. TBD. So there it is. That was the video. Thank you all so much for making it this far. If you want to learn more about us, there's links in the description to our podcast, to the Patreon, all other sorts of nonsense that I'm pretending right now is nonsense so that you don't hurt my feelings when you don't like it. For this video, we're going to leave the comments on. I didn't really want to at first, but now that you and I both know the score as to how I feel about that kind of engagement, we feel like it's fine. So if you are in the year 2024, which is probably when you're going to be watching this video, that random time that it gets recommended into your timeline, feel free to get in them comments. If you're out there and you're watching this video and you are thinking about getting into the content creation racket and you're maybe thinking about taking your passion and turning it into a product, maybe you want to make a video about sneakers or knitting or candy bars that nobody's ever heard of before because that's your passion, tell us about it. Maybe you've already started making videos and you're just trying to make sense of it all like we are. Tell us about it. Maybe you're already successful and you're doing really well and you're making an income off of this monetization or like paid sponsorships, or you got kick-ass Patreon patrons. Tell us about your journey. Tell us about your story. Tell us if it's still your passion now that it's become a job. I'm probably not going to respond to any of it because we've already established why I'm not going to do that. But I do want you to tell your story, because how else are we supposed to make sense of this crazy world if you don't? See ya.